Here's the situation. I just bought the new Sony ZV-E1. So this is my first look into this camera, and we're gonna see if it's worth the hype and the $2,200 price tag, or if you'd just be better off keeping the camera you already have. Let's go. Go ahead. Come on, up. We're here at my favorite coffee shop in New Bern, North Carolina, Creamer Brew, and we're going to explain the cinematic vlog mode on the Sony ZV-E1. The cinematic vlog mode is a setting that Sony has on this camera which produces the cinematic aspect ratio, which explains the black bars at the top and bottom of the screen. It also has a color profile specifically for this, and it's the Sony S Cinetone look, which is crispy. And the other thing about this is it shoots at the 24 frames a second, which is like that cinematic standard. That was a good take too. So the question that I had is whether or not you could use the slow motion and the cinematic vlog mode at the same time. So we're gonna go give that a try and grab coffee inside of Creamer Brew. Let's go. Now that's a good cup of coffee. Second and talk about the digital zoom feature on this camera, which is amazing. And so as you can see here, we're shooting on the Tamron 17-28 2.8, and this is at 17. If we zoom it to 28, that's what you get, but you get an additional 2 times, and I'm able to zoom to essentially 50 millimeters. Another reason why the digital zoom feature on this camera is so amazing is for this reason right here. So now we're shooting on the 35mm prime lens. Here's my wife and my dog Stella, right? And here's the game-changing part. This is a prime lens, meaning it doesn't zoom at all. But now it does. With this digital zoom, we're able to turn this from a 35 to a 70mm lens. And you're essentially able to have a 35 to 70 still at a 1.8. Man, we have to find a parking spot, drive around, park in it again. And then when we're walking, we have to walk somewhere, we set up the camera, walk back, walk toward it, grab the camera, turn around, do the walk again. Man, the things you do for vlogging. We got it successfully set up and it looks good. That's definitely a huge win, big win. So we're here at Atlantic Beach and we're gonna test the rest of the features of this camera, starting with auto reframing. And what the Sony does is it actually shoots a wide video and it crops in on me. So theoretically, I should be able to move around and the camera will follow me. Is it working?
Yeah.
This is a dandy little feature when you're filming yourself. The other thing that's pretty amazing about this camera is the stabilization. There's 3 different kinds. There's a standard, a dynamic, and a dynamic active. With the dynamic active, there's a bit of a crop. So let's go ahead and see that right here, right now. So this is with stabilization off at 28mm. Here's 17. Here is standard at 28mm. Here is standard at 17. Walking backwards. Here is active at 28. Here is active stabilization at 17. Here is dynamic active, aka gimbal mode, at 28 millimeters. And then here is dynamic active at 17 millimeters. And now we get to talk about the new and improved internal microphone on the Sony ZV-E1. It's better than any other vlog camera, and it means that you don't need an external mic if you don't want to use it. So you're able to grab the camera, the lens, slap it together, and run and gun. That's a big reason why I bought this camera. And in fact, I've been using the internal camera this entire video. So far, it's been serving me well. Focus, there we go, there we go. Benji, I keep forgetting I have a flip out screen, which is superb. I love this camera. The other thing about this camera, with the audio specifically, is there's 4 different settings you can put. There's an auto, there's a front in all directions, and a rear. So right now we're shooting with auto. So that means if I go around and I'm talking to you, it should automatically pick where I am coming from right now. If I come over here, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna select, this is from the front, right? So if I walk around and I talk to you, it should cut off right about here. Now that I'm behind the camera, you're not gonna hear me as well as if I'm right here. The third setting is all directions. So if I walk around this camera, wherever I go, it should pick me up all around the camera. It shouldn't be that much different than the auto. It should pick me up the same both, regardless. And now we're on the rear, so you shouldn't really hear me well. And when I come over here, it should pick me up really well from back here. And now, if you wanted to, you could like point at something and use your hands to kind of like do whatever. Or just be behind the camera. Say I wanted to take this off this tripod, talk about my wife over here recording me, it can do that. It can pick me up from the back, from the rear. The other cool part about this is I chose the beach for a reason. You got the waves behind me, you've got the wind going on, and I wanted to see how well the microphone, the camera, and the dead cat would do in this condition. So, how's it sound? My guess, pretty good. Another setting that this camera has that is absolutely fantastic is, here, let me zoom in for a second. There we go. There's this defocus setting. So you see how the background is really blurry? Watch that, we can clear it up. And it'll change the aperture to kind of give me what I need automatically. I don't have to do this. I don't have to check settings. So we want it nice and blurry, and we want that bokeh. Boom, defocus. We come over here, boom, clear. That simple. In case the camera didn't already do enough, there's a feature where it automatically detects if somebody else is walking into the frame, and it actually changes the aperture automatically to make sure they're in focus. Hey, honey? So right now it is shooting at f6.3. Come back in. f4.5. Now it's f7, 8, 9, 11. f11. It's a neat little feature. This was just a very first look at the camera. Like, I didn't dive super in depth other than what I did kind of myself or played around with. And in the future, I'll be making more videos diving deeper into the different modes and everything. This is just kind of like, I opened the box, I started using the camera, this is the first look. And so this is truly everything I wanted and more. This is something I can shoot thumbnails with. This is something where the photos are crispy and great. This is something where the videos are amazing. And just the quality, like right now, I'm filming this looks pretty good, but it's almost dark. Before I keep talking, we're gonna kind of end it there, and I'm gonna give you one more bonus clip. I'm gonna go ahead and show, this is with the Sony ZV-E1, and this is kind of the low light. We're gonna switch over to Sony A6400 and something with not as good low light, and you're gonna see how dark it really is. Ready? This is what this clip looks like and sounds like on the Sony a6400. As you can see, big difference.